Welcome to the Nordic Venture Show, your speed date with the coolest ventures, brightest founders, and exciting things happening in the Nordics. In this episode, our venture date is with Fuse Vectors, cell-free gene therapy advancement.
Okay, so let's kick things off. Gene therapy. I mean, it's making some really incredible strides, isn't it?
Absolutely. And these Adeno-Associated Viruses, AAVs, they're kind of at the center of so much of it.
Hundreds of clinical trials using them, but there's a bit of a snag.
Right. The way we actually make these AAVs right now,
Yeah.
it's got problems.
Yeah, big ones.
Yeah.
We're talking like results all over the place sometimes, potential toxicity
Yeah,
issues,
slow development times.
and just really, really high costs to produce them.
And that really comes down to the traditional approach, doesn't it? Using living cells to make the virus. It's inherently complex.
It sounds lots of bottlenecks, I guess,
Right.
in terms of, efficiency and just how much you can make.
Exactly. Limits the scale.
Right. And that brings us to what we're diving into today.
Fuse vectors?
Fuse Vectors, yeah, a company that's stepping into this whole area with something they're calling a groundbreaking, fully scalable, cell-free viral vector technology.
So free. That's the key phrase there.
It seems so. And their mission, it's pretty ambitious. Unlock access to gene therapies for everyone in need.
Which is huge. I mean, if you think about it, making these therapies more available is such a critical goal.
Absolutely. The current production challenges.
Yeah.
They've definitely held things back, haven't they?
No question. They've restricted how widely these treatments can actually be used, even if they show promise.
So for this deep dive, we've been digging into what Fuse Vectors put out there, their website, the About Us, home, news, and media pages.
Trying to piece together the story, the tech, where they're at.
Exactly. Our mission today is really to get to grips with how Fuse Vectors is trying to fix these vector development problems and, well, what it could all mean.
So where did this idea even come from? What pushed the founders to tackle this specific problem?
Good question. Well, according to their site, it started with the founders, Benjamin and Jordan. They'd worked in the industry.
So they saw the problems firsthand.
Seems like it. They saw the downsides of the current tech, felt there had to be a better way. So they took this bold leap, as the site calls it.
Makes sense. That firsthand experience is often the spark, isn't it?
Yeah. And then Henrik joined later as executive chair, adding more leadership.
Okay. So they saw the need.
And they didn't just sit on it. They mentioned starting out in a, quote, modest lab, but they pulled together a team pretty quickly.
Experts in the right areas.
Looks like it: molecular biology, bioengineering, bioprocessing. The About Us section says they were all united by this shared goal of revolutionizing gene therapy.
That mix of skills. It's usually vital for tackling these complex bio challenges. You need different perspectives.
Definitely. Okay, so let's get into the core innovation then. This cell-free viral vector technology, Fuse technology they call it. Can you sort of break that down for us?
Right. So the key idea is that it's a cell-free AAV filling platform. What that means essentially is they figured out how to put AAVs together without using living cells.
So completely outside the cell.
Exactly. It's a major shift from the usual way, which involves growing cells, getting them to produce the virus. It's complicated.
This sounds simpler. Maybe like an assembly line.
That's not a bad analogy, actually.
Yeah.
Like having all the pre-made parts ready to assemble instead of relying on tiny biological factories, the cells to make everything.
And they make this really big claim: 100% purity of AAV product in a single step.
Wow. Okay, that is bold.
Compared to cleaning everything up after using cells, which I gather takes a lot of work.
Oh yeah. Purification in cell-based processes can be multi-step, complex, and you could lose product along the way.
Yeah.
So achieving high purity in one go, that could be huge.
A real potential game changer for efficiency and cost.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Less processing, potentially less loss, cleaner product. It could streamline things massively. Like their site says, plain and simple. At Fuse, we make AAVs outside the cell.
Captures it perfectly.
It really does. It's a fundamental difference.
Okay, so they're pitching Fuse technology as the ultimate solution, a superior alternative. But it's not just the production tech, is it? They mention an optimization engine, too.
Right. It seems like it's a two-part strategy. You've got the cell-free production, the Fuse technology, and then this optimization engine.
And what does the optimization engine do?
Well, the website suggests it's about improving the AAV vectors themselves, maybe making them better at targeting specific cells or more efficient at delivering the gene once they get there.
So one part makes the vectors efficiently, the other part makes the vectors better.
That seems to be the idea. They talk about this combination aiming to incentivize gene therapy development for all genetic illnesses and accelerate breakthroughs of better and safer therapies.
Okay, so by making the whole process development and production easier and maybe cheaper.
It could open the door for therapies for diseases that aren't, commercially attractive right now with the current high costs.
More diseases, maybe rarer conditions.
Potentially, yeah. It links back to that big mission, doesn't it? Unlock access for everyone in need. Lowering those barriers is key.
And this isn't just talk. They've actually hit some significant milestones, according to their news section. That pre-seed funding, for instance.
5.2 million USD. That's a serious amount for pre-seed.
Shows some real belief from investors, right? This was announced February 2025.
Yeah, led by HCVC, with early backing from Bioinnovation Institute, EIFO, and the Innovation Fund. That kind of support is a strong signal.
And the money's for
Advancing the tech, developing their own gene therapies too, it seems, and building partnerships. Pharma companies, biotechs, universities.
that partnership piece sounds important, getting the tech out there.
Crucial, especially for a platform technology like this. And even before that funding, they got recognition from Merck.
Right. The 2024 EMA Advanced Biotech Grant, that was back in November 2024. Getting a nod from Merck, that's pretty significant validation.
Definitely. As they put it, it highlights their innovative approach and dedication. It adds a lot of credibility, especially for a younger company.
And interestingly, they only really came out publicly, emerged from stealth mode in January 2024.
At the Bioinnovation Institute's Demo Day.
Yeah. So they were working away behind the scenes before making a splash.
It's pretty typical for deep tech startups. You want to have something substantial before you shout about it. Unveiling that groundbreaking platform was their big moment.
And since then, it seems they've been busy. They mentioned joining the NOMI mentoring network, presenting at events.
Getting the word out, building connections, all vital stuff. You can't just invent something cool in a lab. You need the community to engage with it.
Makes sense. Now, who are the people actually doing all this? The team.
Right. Always good to look at the team. The About Us page lists the key players.
We've got the co-CEOs, who are also co-founders. Benjamin Blaha is CTO.
Jordan Turnbull is CSO, Chief Technology Officer, and Chief Scientific Officer.
That split leadership itself says something, doesn't it? Strong focus on both the tech and the science.
It really does. And Henrik Stage, the other co-founder, is the executive chair, providing that strategic oversight.
And then there's a wider team listed, too. A research business developer.
Interesting role. Bridging science and commerce.
Principal technician, protein scientist, scientific manager for R&D.
Core science and lab roles.
And an external consultant for CMC and regulatory affairs.
That's critical. CMC, chemistry, manufacturing, controls, and navigating the regulatory hurdles. Absolutely essential in gene therapy.
Yeah, you can't skip that part. Having that expertise on board early seems smart.
Very smart. Plus, you mentioned a protein scientist, and they also list a senior scientist in virology. That directly speaks to the AAV focus. It looks like a well-rounded team covering the key bases.
Okay, so summing up then, Fuse Vectors is really going after those big limitations in how we make gene therapy vectors now.
With this cell-free AAV technology.
Right, which promises potentially higher purity, maybe faster production, possibly lower cost.
And all of that ties into their big goal, making these therapies accessible to more people.
Their Fuse technology plus that optimization engine, it's about lowering the hurdles for developing therapies for, well, potentially a much wider range of genetic conditions.
Exactly. And the recent signs, the funding, the Merck grant, emerging from stealth, they all point towards a company that's got momentum.
And for you listening, the real takeaway here is the potential ripple effect. I mean, if this technology works as advertised, it could seriously speed up getting new treatments developed and actually available.
Which offers real hope, doesn't it, for so many conditions that currently just don't have good options.
Absolutely.
Which kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Imagine, just for a moment, that producing these high-quality viral vectors efficiently and at scale, imagine that problem is largely solved.
Okay.
What does that unlock? What new possibilities open up in personalized medicine, in gene therapy? Could we start tackling diseases we currently think of as, completely intractable?
Yeah.
And what would that mean for healthcare more broadly if these cutting-edge therapies became, well, more accessible? It's quite something to think about.
Thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Music, or your favorite app. And connect with us on LinkedIn for more stories and insights.